Hello everyone, I Shete welcome you all again on the platform of KTHM e-learning in this lecture of specialized auditing paper 6. In the previous lecture we have discussed the areas of internal audit, and now in today's lecture we are going to understand the concept of internal audit report, and after that we will see the differences between internal control and internal audit. So let's understand the internal audit report. Friends, as per standard on internal audit, that is SIA 2, basic principles governing internal audit issued by the Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. The internal auditor should carefully review and assess the conclusions drawn from the audit evidence obtained as the basis for his findings contained in his report and suggest remedial action. However, in case the internal auditor comes across any actual or suspected fraud or any other misappropriation of assets, it would be more appropriate for him to bring the same immediately to the attention of management. Basic elements of internal audit report. Basic elements of internal audit report as per standard on internal audit, that is SIA 4, on reporting issued by the Council of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. The internal auditor's report includes some basic elements of layout of internal audit report. So the first element is title. The internal auditor's report should have an appropriate title expressing the nature of the report. Second element of layout is addressing. The internal auditor's report should be appropriately addressed as required by the circumstances of the engagement. Orderly, the internal auditor's report is addressed to the appointing authority or such other person as directed. Then third is report distribution list, coverage and opening paragraph. In this, there should be a mention of the recipient of the report in the section on report distribution list. The internal auditor's report should identify the systems, processes, functional lines or other items of the entity that have been audited, including the dates of and period covered. The report should include a statement that the operation of systems, procedures and controls are the responsibility of the entity's management, and a statement that the responsibility of the internal auditor to express an opinion on the weaknesses in internal controls, risk management and governance framework, highlighting any exceptions and cases of non-compliance, and suggest or recommend improvements in the design and operations of controls based on the internal audit. Next element is scope paragraph. The internal auditor's report should describe the scope of the internal audit by stating that the internal audit was conducted in accordance with generally accepted audit procedure as applicable. It means the management needs this as an assurance that the audit has been carried out in accordance with established standard. Scopes refers to the internal auditor's ability to perform internal audit procedures deemed necessary in the circumstances. The report should include a statement that the internal audit was planned and performed to obtain reasonable assurance whether the systems, processes and controls operate efficiently and effectively, and financial information is free of material misstatement. The internal auditor's report, in line with the terms of the management, should describe the internal audit. Next is executive summary paragraph. In that, the executive summary paragraph of the internal auditor's report should clearly indicate the highlights of the internal audit findings, key issues and observations of concern, significant controls lapses, failures or weaknesses in the system or processes. Next is observations paragraph. In the audit report, the observations paragraph should clearly mention the process, name, significant observations, findings, analysis and comments of the internal audit. Next element of internal audit report is comments from local management. In the comments from local management, paragraphs should contain the observation and comments from the local management of the entity provided after giving due organizes to the internal auditor's comments. This should also include local management's action plan for resolution of the issues and compliance to the internal auditor's recommendations and suggestions on the areas of process and control weaknesses or deficiency. The management action plan should contain the time frame for taking appropriate corrective action, the person responsible and resource requirements, if any, for ensuring such compliances. Next is action taken report paragraph. The action taken report paragraph should be appended after the observations and findings and should include status of compliance or corrective action already taken or being taken by the auditee with respect to previous internal audit observations. Then status of compliance or corrective action not taken by the auditee with respect to previous internal audit observations and the reasons for non-compliance thereof, and the revised timeliness for compliance of all open items in fixation of the responsibility of the concerned process owner. Next is date. In the audit program, the date of an internal audit report is the date on which the internal auditor signs the report expressing his comments and observation. Next point is place of signature. The audit report should name the specific location, which is ordinarily the city where the internal audit report is signed. And last is internal auditor's signature. The audit report should be signed by the internal auditor in his personal name. The internal auditor should also mention the membership number assigned by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India in the report, so issued by him. Further, the internal auditor should exercise due professionals care to ensure that the internal audit report should be clear, factual, specific, concise, unambiguous, timely, etc. Now, let us see the differences between internal audit and internal control. So, the first difference is internal control refers to the methods and procedures implemented by the management to control the business operation and to assist in achieving the business objectives. In the another side, internal audit alludes to the auditing program adopted by the firm to review its financial and operating activities by a professional. Next difference is system. Next difference is internal control is a system and internal audit is a activity. Next difference of internal control is one person's work in verified by another, and in the another side, in internal audit, each and every component of work is verified. Then next difference is in internal control. As soon as the transaction is recorded, checking is performed, and in the internal audit side, checking is done after the work is performed. Next difference is the objective of internal control is to ensure compliance with management policies, and the objective of internal audit is to detect fraud and error. Then last difference of internal control is the nature of internal control is detective in nature and internal audit is preventive in nature. So here we are going to stop. Thank you.